Good morning. I'm getting settled in this morning. I made it into the office this morning, though there are no early meetings. But I was on the road, and I'll tell you, we're going to sort of have to go through this rundown together because, let me start over. Good morning. I'm Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and your delegate for the 89th District of the House of Delegates. I am the laced up legislator. I think we are laced up pretty good today. I have to show you my shoes today. It's comfort over cute. This is how we operate. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys. So as I get settled in this morning, I again hope you guys are doing well. Remember, this is your time. So do not hesitate to put your questions, your comments, your concerns as we start our day together. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, comrade. Good morning. I'm going to get on your place and space because we have been trying to connect the dots for quite a bit of time, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. It has been an interesting week. As I said on Tuesday, and if you over, and so Monday was crossover where we had a really late night, all the way up until Tuesday. So I'm trying to remember what we talked about on Tuesday. So if I repeat some things, it's only because I wanted to put an explanation point on a lot of what was happening on Monday night. That night ended at 10:15. And I will say this, it was very interesting. It was probably I learned the most that day, and was grateful for the opportunity. However, I want to tell y'all, what's going on locally and then what's going to happen here over the next couple weeks, right? Because all of the bills that we have are gone over to the Senate. But what I like to do, and I have shout out to Vince, to the team, because they always make sure like I got the lowdown on what's going on on the ground at home, so we can stay abreast. Now, if you got a chance last night to either go to school board or have been abreast of some things that are happening in the community, please drop it in the comments. Like what it helps me to do is really like get my mind framed around what we're walking back into, because we're trying to solve real problems, right? And I know that last night there was a lot of conversation about ARPA funds with the schools. We're still dealing with the ARPA funds with the council, school closures. Like I saw the article this morning, and as we talk, I'm sitting here bringing up the newspaper. One of the biggest things that happened yesterday, as you guys know, is that Senate Bill 739. And I'm saying that because we're going to all learn how to talk this bill talk together. Senate Bill 739 passed in the House. That was the bill where, if you read the governor's executive orders, he said, I want to make mask optional for families, for parents, because there's this whole parents' rights movement that I think I've expressed the sentiment that as a parent who has always been sort of fighting for my child within the public school system, have never felt like that anybody really cared about how I was advocating. So it is definitely it feels very political. It feels like you're rallying parents against each other over this mask mandate. And now I think I read the other day that there's something like a parents' bill of rights that folks are trying to make. But also, we as parents, not only do we have rights, we have responsibilities, right? And I know that, and this was mentioned on the floor, is that when my kid is sick, right, and they have the flu or a cold, it is my responsibility to make sure that cold or that flu or whatever, it doesn't spread. Like that's as a parent. Now I know it has been some days where I'm like, look, I gotta go to work. But we're always sort of making sure that we don't spread, right? Which is why we get the flu shot, and some of us do, some of us don't. Which is why we say, look, I'm real sick today. I'm not coming in. It's really it's really not interesting, but it's really disappointing to see this politicized, this mass thing politicized in this way. But that bill passed the House, which with a couple amendments like saying, hey, the governor can do, in an emergency situation, can make the call. But essentially, it's hard. it's hard. It's disappointing. As Deborah said, it's extremely disappointing because what we do believe and what we know is that the way our school district works down in Norfolk doesn't operate the same way as our neighbors in Virginia Beach, right? So like it is really, or our neighbors in Chesapeake or Suffolk, it is important to recognize, like for me, I have to make some really quick decisions sometimes for some of these bills, and I ask myself a couple of different questions. Is it something that I believe that each city should have their own control over, right? Is it what I mean by that? Should the locality have control? That's first question. Like if it's one of those things, well, yeah, you got to have the city should be able to make that decision for themselves, or it's like, nah, this is one of the things where I think within the powers of the General Assembly where I am, we need to set a precedence. Is it funded or unfunded? Like, are we telling people to do stuff and then not giving them the money to do it? You know, what have I heard from you guys? And this is one of those things where we should be following the entities that do the work in this, like the CDC. And so, yeah, it's very disappointing. I'm sure, like Deborah said, the teacher shortage is already there, and folks are leaving the profession, quite frankly, just because they're asking so much. We have already asked so much of you, and we killed a bill that said that we would make sure that we, actually Nadarius Clark, our neighboring delegate over in Portsmouth, he put in a bill to ensure that our teacher pay here in Virginia is at least at the national average, and it was killed. So like, there are people here trying to do some really good work and trying to make us, make our money say what our mouths do. Because when it all boils down to it, y'all, bill after bill after bill can go in, but we really show our values by how we spend our money. And we call that appropriations. So when you hear me talk about appropriations, it's about how we are putting money how and where we're putting money and dividing it up. And soon there's going to be a budget day. I actually have I'll have to pull up that calendar because budget day is going to be a big deal, and I'm still learning a lot about that. Yeah, it ignores the right to teachers to be well. I agree, James. Thank you so much. Go back over Clark's bill. So Darius Clark put in a bill. I'll look at it while I'm sitting here, and it's a good thing that I'm at the computer. Well, start trying to do this while I'm here. But Darius Clark, he put in a bill that would ensure, and I'll look at it. Let me grab it. He put in a bill that said. I can't find it. Oh, there it is. Right. So his bill was House Bill 535. And this bill said that teacher compensation will be at or above the national average. And so it would require that public school teachers be compensated at the rate of the national average or above. Yes. And under the current law, right, compensation, it says, is very aspirational. So the bill would require the state, right, us up here, the state, to provide pursuant to the general appropriations. Remember, appropriations, that's the money that we give out in sum to fund the sufficient 4.5% annual increase for public school teacher salaries effective next school year, right? And it had a delayed start date of next school year. So his bill never even made it out of his subcommittee, of the education subcommittee. And it was defeated on party lines. It was on party lines. Yep. So you've got it was a 5-4 vote. 5 Republicans voted against it, or voted to lay it on the table. And by lay it on the table, they mean we're just not gonna hear. We're not gonna vote on it. We're just gonna lay it down. Yes, we're just gonna lay that down. People say that's supposed to be a gentle thing, but it still don't. It still don't feel good. It still don't feel good. But I think we all kind of have to prepare ourselves for what this means, because even if it's just a political stunt, think about the sentiment that it sends to our educators, right? Like, that sentiment is real. Like, your health and whoever you care about health is not necessarily a priority to us, because we feel like we should be able to do the X, Y, or Z. Like, as a parent, I think that we must recognize that working with our educators, it's like co-parenting, and that's real, because your educators oftentimes are spending more time with your children than you are, and while I understand that there are some rights that we have to advocate, we also know that this is a public system to which we are partaking in, right? This is a public system. So it is, when we talk about choice and things like that, that this is a service to us. Are we paying for it with our tax dollars? Abso-freaking-lutely, but it is a public system for us. Just like patients have rights and responsibilities, I can't go in there and tell my doctor, you gonna give me this. You gonna see me today, right? Like, just because I feel a certain way, or I feel like my medical advisement. And that's why I think that we don't give the respect to education that it deserves. I think it's on the same level as being a doctor. The precision by which we are molding young minds deserves a bit more respect. So we tried. There was a concerted effort to try to defeat the bill that came across, which we're in this situation because a senator, who was a Democratic senator, put this bill forth to allow this to happen. Yeah, so that part. Yes, we got to use the defund the schools. Yeah, that's true. It is. It feels like a defunding of schools. So I'm going to pause for a second and say, you guys, yep, Chad Peterson was the, yep, you're abreast of things, Conrad. What I will leave space for you guys is to please go ahead and put your if you got something going on, or you have any questions, comments, and concerns, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, and I'll try to go through it as I like. I'm still browsing the newspaper. Let me tell you why. I'm just now browsing the topics that my friend told me. I know what I'm looking for, but this morning I took a little bit of time to call my spouse, and I'm going to say this to you all. As we go about our busy days, there is so much going on in this world. Let us not forget the people that love and support us. Let us not forget. I sometimes get so caught up in doing all the stuff here, like doing all the things, that sometimes I don't talk to my family for a day or two at a time. And I'm really working that portion out of making space for the things that matter most. So I hope today, whoever you supposed to call your grandma. Did you supposed to call your mama or your sister or your cousin that you love, or your friend from way back when that every time y'all talk, do it. Even if it's for 2 or 3 minutes. Just, I don't have a lot of time, just wanted to call and hear your voice. Do it, okay? So I had to do that this morning. So we're working together on this. No, I'm not ironing clothes this morning. See, I said last Monday, now it's cold in the shade, Denise. It's cold in the shade you sending me. I'm just not saying. So Tuesday I was ironing because I had such a long night. I did not prepare my clothes for the next day because we were doing crossover and it was a long night. But no. But if I need to, I will, because I know that I'm representing people, okay? Any cool bills on affordable housing? Conrad, let me tell you what ended up happening. Some really great bills came out of committee, and we talked about that process, that bills go from subcommittee to committee and then to the floor where we voted on it. And when we went to vote on these really great tenants' rights, like notification of what was it? The notification of a pricing change on a house. Nadarius Clark also put in a rent stabilization bill that it got killed in committee. But all of these bills that were about housing, it's not kidding. They were unanimously voted out of their committee. They were great bills that had to do with housing. On Monday, when we got ready to vote on a block, because when I say vote on a block, it's any bill that when it came out of committee, there was no one voted against it. Those get voted on a large block. So if it was 100 bills that came out of committee that everybody voted for it, we do one big vote on all of those bills. What happened was on Monday is the Republican Party pulled several bills out of the block. Yep, they pulled them out after we were about to vote on them, because typically on a block vote we just press yes, because we know everybody on both sides that has looked at this has said it's good to go. We're not going to worry about it. They pulled these really good bills out of the block, and we voted on them individually, and they killed them. So one of them, I know Delegate Price had some great housing and tenants' rights bills on there, and they pulled them out, which was a shock to us. And to me, I was like, well, you should have just killed it in committee, right? In committee, you should have, but they were such good bills that I think it would have been a really bad look to kill the bill. So they killed it on the floor. It was frustrating and sad, because I was really, excited about those sorts of things. Yep. I says, I got to get the list of these good books. That, yeah, I will try to do my best. And Janice, thank you for keeping me honest. I think you sent me a message too. There's also some facial recognition. Can you please explain what the point of only in existing? Okay, so Denise, keep me honest, or Janice, keep me honest. I don't get on social media enough. I think you sent me a social media request, but I will put my office address in here for you, so that because that will get checked by me or my staff, and they'll make sure that I know what the heck is happening. Okay, so Deborah said, can you please explain what the point is of allowing recreational marijuana sales in only the existing medical facilities? I wish I could explain it. I have not. I started looking into sort of the bills that are coming across, the marijuana bills that are coming across, and I think that there are going to be some concerns, because if there can't be an agreement on regulation, and I actually took some notes last night, just trying to get myself together for looking at what's coming across. Deborah, where is it? Here it is. Right. Yeah. If there can't be some, I don't know how that bill is going to fare, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at it, because that's a Senate bill. So the Senate bill made this last minute changes that would allow, and I'm reading it from the pilot, so if you get the pilot, made some last minute changes that would allow the existing marijuana providers and limited number of industrial hemp processor to begin retail sale recreational marijuana in September, more than a year before the market even opens. So there's these two bills that were sponsored by some senators that would allow for it. And so I don't think that it'll make it through the House, because the GOP leadership was really talking about enforcement and regulation. If they can't do those two things, then it probably won't pass. And I don't know what I don't know what the sentiment of that is, or what the precipice of that bill is, but I'm sure as time goes on, as we get deeper into starting hearing Senate bills, I'll be able to have more information. So please make sure you stay tuned. I will put that on the list of things to make sure that we're in the know. Yeah. We know that. Conrad, to his point, he says criminalizing marijuana more negatively affects minority communities. Legalizing it would help those communities, but won't allow that. Yeah, and part of that is when we decide to legalize, we know that we are dealing with people that have taken equity out of the language books of what we do. Like if you mention equity, it's like, no, 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 no. We don't want equity. We want opportunity. And we know what opportunity is. Opportunity is for those who can pay for it. And so when we talk about specifically the marijuana piece, it's like who can pay to get into that market. There are folks who have been able to sort of cross over their businesses in the past 2 years to get into that market. And I'll even take it even further. What's going to happen in the Hampton Roads area in the coming years is this solar wind energy. Like this is going to be a huge thing. Like we are going to, if we do this right, we're going to be a leader in this field. But what's happening is that many of our smaller businesses that we need to make the trinkets to be able to, the parts, the tools, parts, and materials that can transition themselves on it, they cannot necessarily afford to pull up on their business to be ready in 2 years to start this market piece, because they got to worry about the bills that are now. So as we sort of think about how, at least for me, as I think about how these industries are coming, in my mind, I'm looking at how can the states have grants, public-private partnerships that ensure that some of these businesses that are doing amazing work, whether it's in partnership with shipbuilding that can cross over into some of these major industries, how do we stand in the gap with equity and giving them space to be able to take on these new industries, so it doesn't look like, hey, it was just the rich white dudes or the rich hipsters, the rich, so we're just not making sure that one class of people, that the haves are the only one that can take advantage of the opportunities, right? Like that's for real. And I think we have a responsibility to do that. Jason says, now everyone wants to sell profit off marijuana. Yep. And we still have many brothers and sisters languishing in prison for marijuana convictions. Communities continue to be over-policed and will be suffering as effects of justice. Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. And what I know is going to happen is this summer, I keep saying this, the team is updating the website. We will have these policy groups, and you don't have to live in our district to be a part of these policy groups. But I definitely would want, if marijuana is an area of interest for you, we will have a policy group to start building, because I just found out yesterday we can pre-file our bills starting July 18th. What does that mean, right? Pre-filing means if I believe that something is a good idea and I want to try to figure out what that looks like as a bill, as early as July, I can put that into the system and start seeing what that bill will look like. Y'all, we can be building bills together. This process typically only starts in November. So that's why you hear people saying, you got to make sure you get with your legislators at the end of the year, because they'll start getting their bills together. Nay, as they bite their thumb, right? We will be able to do it starting in July. So these policy work groups are going to be super important for us building the narrative of what we want to see our Commonwealth and our city look like come 2023, because it's going to come right around the corner. Yeah. So listen, I'm with it, Conrad. He said, drop a bill for previous marijuana punishment restitutions. I think Monday I found myself tearing up the other day, and I think I talked about it in another live. I found myself I wasn't tearing up, but you know how you feel like your body wants to cry, but you just can't do it, like you're feeling the hurt for all of the wrongful convictions that we had to go through. All of because our body has to vote on the dollar amount that those folks receive. So we vote, and we have to say, the person who's sponsoring the bill says this bill is for, and they say the person's name, to receive compensation for being wrongfully convicted for 24 years or whatever. I know I talked about this, but that's a whole thing. So what else has happened? Facial recognition. There's a lot on the parole board opening up votes. I'm going to do a super debrief of some of these bills, because it looks like, Conrad, like you people like you that are like, you probably know more than I do. That's why I say our strength comes in this connection. When session ends, we will do a bill debrief. Like, it will just be a session debrief where we'll just talk about what came through, what didn't, and all that good stuff. And that is already something that we're working on. We had our first town hall on Saturday. So thank you guys who were able to attend. And so we'll do that again at the end of session and really sort of dig into so what, now what, and then our next steps. And I believe, like I said, on the website, you should be able to go there and sign up for a policy group. I don't know if that's launched yet. It may be on the website, but I know that is in the works. Also, we're putting in resolutions. Excuse me. I think that's updated on the website. I'll go to Del J Glass. Let me go to it. That I need, if you got a person you want to celebrate, you have a death that happened that you want to commemorate, we can put those in. I only have maybe 2 more weeks to put those in. If you're trying to figure out and you're like, Jackie, I don't even know how to do it. My aunt passed last year. I would love for you to put in, thank you, Colette. I'm sitting up here. See, that's teamwork. So, it's already there. Thank you, Shah. I appreciate you. But it's already there. I need you guys to do that, because I want to set, our goal is to educate, advocate, celebrate. That's what we're doing. We're going to make sure that you stay educated on what the heck's going on, and so that we can both advocate together in our respective spirits, and then we can celebrate the world. Yes, Bob Z is already in the works. It's already in the works. I was on the floor when I found out that Bob Z passed away. And for those of you who don't know, Bob Z is an amazing man who did a lot of work with folks in the community. He was a voice, right? Like, his Bob Z Unfiltered podcast, he was starting to really give us a space to see what's going on, who's about what. And the time that I got with him was a very small blip, but I know that many of you have shared a lifetime with him. Like, know that he been showing up and speaking his truth. So yes, we just found out he passed. And if you don't know who Bob Z is, go check out. You can still go check out the work that he was doing to ensure that there was an independent voice media, because we know the paper sometimes don't tell us we need to know. Sometimes, Wave 10, Channel 13, we're not getting the unfiltered part. And that's what it was. It's unfiltered with Bob Z, because it used to be uncut. And then he had to do some cuts, and he said, I changed it to unfiltered. He's so funny. But the last time I saw Bob, he was smoking a cigar with some friends on Granby Street, eating and talking that good stuff. So we definitely, that's in the works. We will make sure that we do that. The website is delegatejackieglass.com, and I will put that in the chat for you. Okay, I'm going to this is the email that I was talking about that you can reach out to us at, that somebody's always monitoring that. And then the website, Delegate, is Jackie Glass. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. .com. Boop. Okay, there it is. Yes. So that's it. That's all. And I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna hang back for you guys. There's a lot of conversation to be had about what's happening with unions, because they're trying to bust up. I'm telling you, the bills that came across our desk, they're trying to get rid of prevailing wages, saying that if you join a union, that listen, I try to remind myself that everyone here is duly elected, and they are trying to show up for their group of people. There's a bill that's trying to get rid of minimum wage. There is a bill that's God, goodness, excuse me. It's so many. It's so much to hold in our hand, but I promise you guys, we will do that's a bill for real. We'll do a session of that. Once one session is over, we'll be able to, but just know every single day is work. I am working really hard to put systems in place for transparency's sake. Is, you guys know we got up here, and I'll close it out and let you guys wait for your questions. If there are no questions, I'll close this out because I know we're going a little bit over time. But full transparency, we got here a day before. We got elected, y'all, the day before session started, which meant we had to come in and we had to really hit the ground running. And we were very grateful to be able to put in some bills. 2 of our bills have made it over, y'all. And come on, let's go ahead. Put your hand out here. Put your hand out like this. Put it out. You got to do it. Put your hand out. Take it and put it over that bag. We're going to do a little bit of this because I want to thank you for affording me with this opportunity that I didn't know I would like this so much, because I was very, very, local government is so dear to my heart. Like, I feel like that's where everything starts, and that is still the truth, y'all. That is still what happens in the localities. I am just now a middle child between the local and the federal government. But what I will say here is that we are still putting the systems in place to be able to do this job well for you. We are functioning. This office is functional. You see, we got a chair, we got a computer, we got some things we're trying to do what we do, but we are not high functioning. And so just know that the team over here and the team on the ground, I was saying waking up because I just saw Kezia say, just woke up. It's great to see you. It is more than great to see you. Because we are certified doers, right? And so we are looking at the work that we're doing and saying that as we roll into this next session and to the next 10 months of what we're doing, we don't want to just be functioning, we want to be high functioning. And so that requires us to develop processes, systems, and quite frankly, programs within the office that help us do the job better. So we're staying afloat, we are above water, but there's so many things that I know that we're all saying can be done better. So I want to thank you guys for your patience with us as an office, hey, it may take me a week to get back to an email, because I'm telling you, I look at that box, I say, it's 1,000 emails a day. But our staff is really, again, working on making sure that that we are in service. The next 10 months, y'all, this is only 8 weeks, okay? So when March 12th hits, because that is the end of session, March 12th hits, we're back in Norfolk and we're back on the ground and we're working. And that is more time to really do what this work is all about, and that's constituent services, that's showing up for you all and being of service. So I'm ready for that, and I can't wait to see y'all face to face, okay? So I will next time be able to tell you some of the amazing dates that are coming up. Conrad, you seem like you stay abreast of a lot. I hope you will join the certified doers as we make this happen. But budget's coming up, so that when we start talking money, that's coming up. That I think our budget day is I want to say the second, that week of March. It's a week in March where we'll be doing is talking money. That's when it get real. And I've already committed myself to learning how to read the state level budget, not just good, but well enough to be able to find money. Because I said, right, when I was like, hey, here's my pitch for showing up, I may not get a bill passed, but I for sure want to make sure we get resources. That is a part of, I have to know how to read this budget. Like, we have to know where to find the money, and I think we're on the right track to finding where some of this stuff is, to getting stuff that money or resources that, quite frankly, it's already there. It's already there. Yep. Okay. So, Jason, you said the old saying, you have to laugh to keep from crying when you look at some of these bills come out. It's sweet. Yep. Yes, we do. We have to laugh to keep from crying. Because if I know one thing about the way things work, I hear a lot of tradition, right? I hear a lot about tradition and about how this is how we do this is tradition. Well, I'm going to tell you what tradition has done. In the name of racism, tradition has been upheld. In the name of sexism, ageism, ableism, right? Classism, tradition has been upheld. So at some point, we, like the Navy, I'm a sailor. At one point, one of our core values was tradition, but we had to let it go and let our core values be honor, courage, and commitment, because tradition was not serving us, and it was not serving the national security at all. So I think it's time we let go of some of these traditions and we get to work with the masses. We fought really hard, and I know I'm going on, but I wanted to say this because I know I'll forget it. Yesterday, a delegate by the name of Marcus Simon, very smart guy. He, I think, is in the Fairfax area. He is a guy who stays abreast of like the rules. You know how you got that person that just know, hey, I know all the rules, and I call him out. He's like, in accordance with Rule 81, this is what we want to do. We fought really, 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 really hard to make sure that we would be able to vote on 2 constitutional amendments that never made it to the floor. They never made it out of committee. And those 2 constitutional amendments are, one was making the automatic right to vote for people that get out of incarceration. So when you get out, you automatically get your rights back. It should not be at the behest of the governor. That bill never made it to the floor. They laid it on the table. The second bill was changing our Constitution to say that, to align with the federal government and say marriage is not just between a man and a woman. Marriage is between 2 people that decide. They sat here and tried to compare changing our Constitution, again, to match what is already federal law. They said that it will lead to essentially bestiality, child marriages. It was so frustrating. It was heartbreaking. I'm just gonna be honest. When I got back to my office, I was so mad. I cried listening to these people. I was so mad. I was just like, I need to know. I was like, stop crying. Get your face. Fix your face, Jackie. You got work to do. I was just so mad. I was just so mad. Yeah, polygamy. They said it was a lot. It was a lot. However, again, all kinds of people in this world, we're just trying to protect our interests and do what works for the masses. Dissent is a totally natural thing, but I was really frustrated. Thank you. Look at you. Look at Jason. Jason put all the dates. Yep. All the dates. Amendment, yeah, budget bills. He is so right. Those are all the dates. And we will definitely be making sure that we, we'll be making sure that we keep you abreast. All right. Okay. Until next time, because we are super over. Jackie Glass, Mama, Navy vet, certified doer, and your delegates. I'll stay laced up. We the laced up legislator, right? We always ready, as we like to say, always ready. If you have anything, please make sure you go to the website and you sign up for the newsletter, because we put that out every week. While we're in session, every week we're putting something out in the newsletter. Sign up to get on one of these policy councils. Look at Ari. I take it. All the love. I receive it. Get on one of these policy councils, right? Because we're going to be making sure what we're doing is in line with the masses, right? And we can dissent, right? We can disagree. That's okay. It's natural. What else? What I'm missing? That's it. Let me shut up. Make it a great day. No, thank you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. Thank you, Conrad. And thank you, Jason, for adding value to the conversation. Everybody, thank y'all for all the things. Make it a great day.